Hi everybody, this is Dr. Kat here, bringing another topic that I am working through to learn how to self-regulate as I expand my consciousness and my being. And the topic today I want to talk about is trauma that's stored in our nervous system in the form of rage or even hate. Things happen sometimes to us, especially when we're young, that we cannot process and we cannot adequately respond to, that create a scarring in our energy field that when it gets touched, it can feel like intense rage and intense hate. And I was thinking about this topic recently while reading a line from the Course in Miracles, and the line says, "The holiest place on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love." And I thought about that. The holiest place on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. What does that mean? And I thought about how in my own body there is ancient hatred. I had some severe violations done to me as a child, and in my genetic line, my mother as well, and I'm sure it goes back anciently, where maybe in my feminine line there's been suffering and violation and even torture that has resulted in an ancient hatred, an ancient feeling of rage, of wanting to attack, that is stuck in my energy pattern and in my DNA pattern. And the thought that that pattern, that pathway in me could become one of the holiest places on earth by bringing present love. So what does that mean? For me, I've been really working on some of my trauma pathways when they get triggered in relationship now, the trigger that lights up that old feeling of really wanting to fight or flee because it's the trauma pathway. How can I bring my presence, my love into that pathway? And that's one of the things that we work on with brain retraining practices and energy medicine practices. We learn how to teach our nervous system the difference between the present moment and the past. And when we do that, and when we can become present and observe that pathway that's lit up, that feels awful, that feels like you just want to run or kick and scream or fight, when we can bring our presence right alongside of that intensity, that's when we can bring love into an ancient pathway of hatred. And what happens is those neural pathways link together, the neural pathway of presence and love to that neural pathway of trauma, of anger, of rage, of wanting to fight back and retaliate. And that's where ancient hatred and presence and love meet, resulting in a holy place on earth, which is in our body. And that's where healing happens. And from my experience, some of my greatest healing moments have happened when my deepest traumas have been lit up, and simultaneously, somehow, through either my brain rewiring practice or my spiritual practice or meditative practices, I've been able to hold a presence and bring in love and compassion and really see the difference between now and then, and have a greater perspective on the situation, and not only be able to have compassion on myself, but also on the perpetrators or the other people in the situation. And so my message today is to encourage you to discover ways where you can bring an ancient hatred into the present moment and bring your love in and create a holy place on earth within your body.